Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Babbling Irons, not breakdown this time, a review show of the Dagenham Redbridge game. 1-0 win for West Ham in pre-season. So, yeah, more minutes in the tank. Good to see a few of the youngsters as well and get a little bit more of a feel for how they will play, what Lopetegui wants to do with them in certain systems. And yeah, we took a few things away. There were a few standouts, a few underwhelming performances. So we're going to kind of break down the first half and the second half. If you enjoy it, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, as we're trying to hit 3K subs. So anyone else that could help with that, we'd massively appreciate. And yeah, let's get into it. It was a interesting game. I think we approached it with a very fast tempo with both halves, both teams that kind of played. And, we definitely, in the second half, as Dagenham and Redbridge kind of slowed down a little bit, we started to impose ourselves a lot more on the game. But overall, I thought it was a solid performance. I think we're still lacking creativity, but again, it's a slow process. Everyone's kind of just getting back to match fitness. There's a lot of rotation, so not everything's going to click straight away. But there were definitely some performances we can, take away from that. And yeah, let's go through it. So the first half, obviously, this is how we set up. The numbers are representative of the player ratings from our side. So yeah, we'll start off obviously Fabianski in goal. Not too much to mention there. He did like one really nice Cruyff turn, which we're not used to seeing. So he's already playing the Lopetegui way. But yeah, I think with again, until Areola's back, we're not really going to be able to assess much on the goalkeepers. We know who our goalkeepers are, so there isn't really too much to look into that. But when we get into the back four, this is where it was slightly more interesting. So this time, Lopetegui opted for a centre-back pairing of Kilman and Zuma for the first half. And Emerson left back and Casey we actually filled in at right back because right now we just don't have any right backs to be playing there. So someone's going to be filling in. I thought it might have been Mavropanos, but I think he wanted to pair again with Mavropanos. So yeah, I gave Emerson a 7. I thought he was very solid. Casey as well for a centre back playing out of position. I thought he did really, really well, progressing up and down. That could have easily been a 7.5. He put a really nice pass in for Cornet, who should have scored. But then that centre back pairing, Kilman 9, Zuma 5. So Kilman, we'll start with you. Absolutely outstanding. You can kind of tell the type of player he is. It's probably why Lopetegui wanted to sign him and make him his first priority signing. He was absolutely fantastic. So composed on the ball. Really, really good in and out of possession. Any kind of threat they had, he sweeps it up. He didn't make I don't remember any mistake from him in that first half when he was playing. So yeah, really, really, really impressed with Kilman. I think he was definitely there was 2 standout players in that first half, and he was definitely one of them. I thought he was fantastic. Again, you're playing against, no disrespect, but to a non-league team, and it's more about fitness at this stage. But the way he commanded that back line was fantastic. It's really, really promising to see already. Obviously, it's going to be interesting when we play the likes of Wolves and Crystal Palace in pre-season to see how he compares there. But yeah, I thought he was fantastic. But same can't really be said for Zuma. I thought he was pretty Zuma-ish, to be honest, with the way he played. He was panicking a little bit, hitting the ball out of play, wasn't trying to progress the lines like Kilman wasn't switching play like Kilman was. He did okay. That's why I gave him a 5, but he didn't really do anything. And yeah, a couple mistakes as well, and then was kind of backtracking. But yeah, I think Zuma's done, to be honest. I really don't expect to see Zuma starting for West Ham next season. If he does, I'll probably be quite disappointed, to be honest. And yeah, I'd be surprised if he's not the one that's sold, to be honest, out of him and Aged. I think they could both be sold, but I would be more surprised if Zuma stayed and Aged left, to be honest, at this stage, just because of the performances. And yeah, I think, Kilman, fantastic. Zuma, not so much. Moving on to the midfield 3. So again, it was another midfield pivot of Freddie Potts and Lewis Orford. And Ward-Prowse was kind of more of the advanced player, again, where we've seen him play a lot more for David Moyes successfully in that kind of advanced role. I gave Orford a 7, which I actually gave him a 7.5, so it should have said 7 point. But yeah, I thought Orford was really, really good as well. Was switching play fantastically, putting some really nice tackles. I thought he just held that midfield position quite well. A few misplaced passes and a couple of things to improve on, but overall he was very solid. Same with Ward-Prowse. I probably could have given him a little bit of a higher rating, but I just think there were a few occasions where he kind of turned back and could have drove a little bit more. But he again, someone that was switching plays, so I gave him a 7. But then Potts a 9. I think, again, as I mentioned, there were 2 standout players from that first half. Number 1 was Kilman. Number 2 was Potts. Yeah, I really, really like Potts. Potts is a fantastic talent. He really is. You could kind of tell the way he was playing last preseason when we tweeted out on Babbling about him being a really good talent and one to watch from the kind of current crop coming up. And he's already kicked on. He kicked on last season on loan at Wickham. He's come back and he looked fantastic, both aggressively, offensively, defensively, the way he was playing, the way he was making tackles. He made a really, really shaky start after like 5 minutes as well, where he got the ball caught under his feet and they were just through 1-on-1 because of it. Which again, for me to give someone a 9 rating for that, they would have had to have impressed me. And he did. After that, he didn't put a foot wrong. He was fantastic. He was playing more on the left-hand side. But again, him and Orford were kind of switching as well throughout the first half. But yeah, Potts was fantastic. He was driving with the ball. He was comfortable in possession a lot of the time. He was switching play. He was breaking up play. He was putting in those tackles, again, reminiscent of someone like Declan Rice, but just looked a little bit more composed on the ball, to be honest. So yeah, massive respect for how Potts played in that half. And I think he was really fantastic. If I had to pick one of the two, I'd say Kilman just edged it, but Potts was a very, very close second. He was fantastic. And then the front three of Guilherme, Cornet, and Marshall, too disappointed, to be honest. Marshall, I didn't think did well at all, to be honest. He had a couple of moments where he held up the ball okay, and he was working hard across the line. Same with Cornet, someone that was making runs in behind and working hard, but their overall play and, keeping the ball and just overall contribution wasn't good enough. Guilherme as well, that should be 7.5. He was really good. He started off really, really brightly. Likes to come inside. Definitely his favored position is more of, I would say, kind of that inverted right wing role, not really a touchline winger, although he can do that. I think he's going to be similar to someone like Mo Kudus, who, brings the ball in, drives, looks to come inside. And we saw that a lot, to be honest. We saw that with how he was playing, how he was carrying the ball, how he was driving in possession. I think he's definitely still a raw talent, but yeah, I think there was a lot of promising signs from Guilherme, to be honest, in that first half. Luckily, that injury didn't look too bad. That happened towards the end of the first half. But all in all, I thought he was really positive. He was looking to progress with the ball. He tried a couple of switches. One worked. One through ball to Ward-Prowse didn't work. But by and large, he was really, really good. Really solid performance. Yeah, 7.5 for him. And that was the first half ratings. This video is sponsored by Emotive. Emotive provide cutting-edge digital services, solutions, and training to companies and businesses of all sizes. Emotive have worked with some fantastic brands in the past, as you can see behind me, the likes of Apple, Google, Tesco, and of course, Babbling Irons. Emotive offer 4 key services, the first being digital solutions, the second being professional training and coaching, the third being fractional experts, and the fourth being AI readiness. We're going to be working with Emotive on our channel to improve how we showcase the data to you guys in our breakdown videos and data analysis videos. If you want to find out more information about how Emotive can work with you, make sure to scan the QR code now, which will take you to emotivetouch.com, where you can find out more details about the company, and the link will be in the description. A massive thank you to Emotive once again for sponsoring this video. And let's get back to it. Moving on to the second half. It was 0-0 at this point. And yeah, we made a few changes. A few stayed out there, but I haven't really included them here. So I've included the ones that played the majority of the minutes. The likes of Emerson came off, Ward-Prowse on like the 60th minute mark. So yeah, they aren't going to be included in these ratings. But yeah, you can see it here. So Foderingham and goal, again, just a solid 7. Didn't really have anything to do, to be honest, in that half. Didn't really have any saves to make or anything like that, but he did okay. And then, yeah, the back line, I would say Cresswell, 6. I thought he was okay-ish. He gave the ball away a bit sloppily at times, put in a couple of decent corners, but yeah, wasn't too impressed with him, to be honest. Again, and Mavropanos, very, very solid, both of them, both 7.5s. And Kadua on the right-hand side, playing right back again, a 6.5. Again, with someone like Kadua, I feel for him because he's been playing right back in both preseason matches now, because we don't have a right back, and we want to be seeing the likes of Kudus and Guilherme playing on that right-hand side. So the way we were playing, the way we pinned Dagenham Redbridge back in the second half, he almost acted like an overlapping right winger in a right wing back formation, although we were playing a back 4. So he did have plenty of moments in that second half where he was attacking and where he was, driving with the ball. And, there was a couple of moments where he beat his man and got into the box and done really, really well. There were a few times where he overplayed a little bit or ran it out of possession, and was a little bit, he had a mixed half. That's why I gave him a 6.5. And yeah, I think both centre backs were really good. And then yeah, that kind of completed the defence. And then moving on into the midfield, one standout, to be honest, was Irving, sorry, and yeah, he was fantastic. That's why I've given him a 9, which we'll touch on in a second. Kelly came on with half an hour to go. He didn't really do much wrong, didn't do much right. It was just kind of an average performance again at 6. And George Murphy, frustrating performance from him. He was trying to get on the ball and trying to make things happen, but it just wasn't paying off. There was a few loose passes. A couple of times, there was one time where he turned really nicely on the half turn on the edge of the box, but should have just shot, but tried to play a reverse pass to Danny Ings. It was just a frustrating day for George Murphy. I know his talent. We know his talent. He's much better than what he produced, which is why, again, I could have maybe scored him a slightly less than a 6, but he was someone that was constantly trying to get on the ball, finding pockets. It just wasn't coming off for him. It was just a frustrating performance. But yeah, with Irving, he was fantastic, and he obviously scored that incredible goal from the edge of the box when it was kind of laid off to him. First time shot as well, curled it in, left-footed shot to kind of the top corner-ish, and yeah, it was a really, really nice goal. And that probably gave him the confidence to play how he did in the second half, where he was driving with the ball. He was actually playing kind of right centre mid, even though he's left-footed. But he was finding some really nice pockets. He was passing and progressing well. He was safe in possession. He recovered the ball a few times as well. So I was really impressed with him. I thought he played really, really well, which is why I've given him the 9. And obviously he won the match for us, so he definitely deserves to be up there with the ratings. But yeah, I think he was fantastic. Be interesting to see how Lopetegui wants to integrate him in the squad, if he does, because we have so many midfielders and we're still trying to sign another right-sided 8. I don't think Irvin's going to be the one to come into the squad necessarily. I may be wrong. It's very early days to tell that, but he's 24 years old already, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with that one. But yeah, he was fantastic and deserves the praise 100%. And then moving on to the front three, it was kind of Scholes came on left wing in front of Cresswell. Danny Ings was playing striker in the second half, and Kudus came out on the right hand side with about half an hour to go. I've given Scholes a 6, Kudus an 8, and Ings a 7.5. So yeah, with Scholes, he came on. There was a couple of crosses that went wrong. He was looking to beat his man. He was looking to be positive. I thought he did okay. He did a solid job. Nothing crazy. A few misplaced passes, a few times caught on possession. But yeah, he's just coming back from a massive back injury. So we have to take that with a pinch of salt as well. Kudus, fantastic. Looked very, very bright. Was dribbling with the ball, taking players on with ease, shrugging people off. Looked as you'd expect him to in that kind of match, just a different class to the rest. And yeah, even though he played like half an hour, he was fantastic, which is why he got an 8. And Danny Ings as well. I'll be honest, I reckon Lopetegui's looking at Danny Ings to keep him in the squad next season if there isn't a big bid that comes in for him, because he was really good as well, which is why I gave him a 7.5. He was linking play really nicely. He was making things happen. The first goal we scored came from him running in behind, turning a couple of defenders, and he kind of misplaced his pass or shot, whatever it was. But again, it made the action happen. And I thought he was linking up play really well. He retained possession fantastically. A couple of moments where he probably could have made better runs or, found better spaces inside the box. And, particularly from the left-hand side, we put in some really good crosses, but we didn't have that striker kind of gambling between the goalkeeper and the defenders. I feel like Danny Ings could have been that person to do that and probably should have been the person to do that. But I think he just prefers kind of dropping in deep and linking in play now. I think that's probably one of his biggest strengths is how he plays in that regard, which is why when we saw him in number 10 positions last season, he was actually pretty good. So yeah, Danny Ings' technical ability is probably quite underrated. I think he played really, really well. But yeah, that was kind of it. I'd say overall, to summarize the whole performance, I thought we controlled most parts of it, to be honest. We didn't really look very flaky like we did in our last preseason game. I know it's a completely different, level of opposition, but yeah, I just thought we looked very solid. Massive shout out, obviously, to Irvin for his goal and performance. But the ones I'd want to focus on, again, from a selfish point of view, is Potts from the youth, and also Kilman, because he's that new money signing. And I thought both of those were excellent against Dagenham and Redbridge. They really, really were. So yeah, there's still lots of room to improve. I thought our pressing it still needs work. It really does. It still needs work. I thought we tried to do it at times. I thought we pressed them really well at times, but again, there were situations where they just beat that press very easily. And, we're going to have to learn to coordinate that. But again, you're mixing a squad of like 25, 26 players into a match of 90 minutes. That isn't really going to happen. It's not until you get the kind of rhythm of a starting 11 or starting 15 players that are kind of mixing and know and integrate into that Lopetegui system a bit more. And, he's only been here, a month and a half. So that's going to take time. Man of the match for me, it's so difficult. A lot of people are going to say Irvin, and, deservedly so. For me, Kilman. I think Kilman and Potts very close to Kilman. I think those three were the big standouts. But yeah, I would give it to Kilman. I think he was sensational. He really, really was. He was fantastic. He was a different class above the rest. And the way he played as a centre-back is something we have been missing for so long. He's aggressive, he's strong, he's physical, but he's also got the technical ability and composure to play, which is, massively important for how we want to play going forward. So, yeah, let me know in the comments down below. What did you think of the match? Who stood out to you? Am I being a bit harsh with some of my player ratings? Was there anyone else that you thought would get man of the match? Yeah, let me know in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed the review. Subscribe to the channel, as I mentioned, if you enjoy the content. And until the next one, come on, you irons.